I got a call from my brother. Not unusual. We were partners in a small construction business that we had started 10 years ago. Both John and I ran crews and worked with customers. I also took care of the financial side along with the help of John's wife, Mary. We are both married with 4 young kids. My wife's name is Kelly. John and I enjoyed competing with each other in almost everything, but we were much closer than most brothers. We had every right to be. Hey, John, what's up? You need me to come down there and show you which end of a hammer to hold? I was waiting for the inevitable retort, but there was only a long pause. You there, John? Michael, are you alone? I have some really bad news. Hearing the seriousness in John's voice, I quit smiling into the phone and asked, What's wrong, John? Did someone die? John hesitated before replying, Worse. I just saw Kelly walking into a room at the Motel 6. I muttered, Crap. John's voice remained serious. Worse. Confused, I repeated, Worse? John then dropped the bombshell. She went into a room with Matt Rogers and they were kissing as they went in. Feeling my pulse quicken, I demanded, Where are you? John answered, I'm across the street working on that roof repair for the hardware store. I have to go by the house and get something. I'll be there in 10 minutes. Do not let them leave the room. I immediately left the office. Mary asked me what was wrong. She had seen the look on my face before, in high school. If not for John and I being outnumbered and the other guys throwing the first punches, both John and I would have served jail time. I went straight home and got my father's gun. I quickly drove over to the Motel 6 in town. I spotted John leaning against a wall, smoking a cigarette, holding a hammer in his left hand. They in there? I asked, nodding towards the door next to him. Yep. Here is a key card I got from the office clerk. $200 and no calls to the police until you leave. You think it will be enough? I asked. I told him where I would be putting this hammer if the police interrupted you before you finished. He knows who I am. He definitely believed me. You sure it was Kelly and Matt? I asked. There's her car in the back next to his car, he replied. All right, go back to the job. I'll handle it from here. John took a long drag on his cigarette and then put it out with his boot. John nodded at me and casually walked back across the street to the job. I pressed my ear against the door and could hear a man and woman making noises loudly inside. I pressed the key card against the door lock. It turned green and unlocked the door. Pushing the door open slightly, I saw the safety bar was engaged on the door. I stepped back while holding the door ajar with my foot, and I slammed my body into the door. The safety bar ripped from the steel door frame, and the door snapped open. I stepped into the room and shut the door. Kelly was on Matt. Both froze when the door smashed open. Kelly covered her body in surprise. When I stepped into view, Kelly screamed. Matt saw it was me and got an angry look on his face. Matt then started to push Kelly off, but he stopped when I pushed the end of my gun against his forehead. Kelly was whimpering. I pulled 2 thick zip ties from my pocket and handed them to Kelly, who was still sitting on top of Matt. Tie his hands and feet together, I roared. Damn you, jerk, I ain't letting you tie me up. I slammed the barrel of the gun against Matt's eyebrow, above his left eye. A gash opened up and blood immediately started running into Matt's eye. It wasn't open for discussion, I shouted. With my gun pressed against Matt's temple, Matt put his hands together in front of himself, and Kelly put the zip ties around his wrists. Next, Kelly put the zip ties around both of Matt's ankles. When she was done, I put the gun in my belt holster, grabbed the zip ties on Matt's ankles, and pulled as hard as I could. The zip ties dug into Matt's skin around his ankles. I then put my knee on Matt's chest and pulled the zip tie as tight as I could on his wrists. Matt's feet and hands were already turning red from the lack of circulation. I then grabbed the desk in the room and put it next to the bed. Pointing at the edge of the bed, I looked at Kelly and said, "Sit." Kelly sat with no clothes on the edge of the bed, resting her hands on the table. I grabbed the chair and sat down opposite Kelly with Matt lying on the bed behind her. I stared at Kelly until Kelly finally spoke. "I'm sorry. It was a mistake." I sat silently staring at her with no expression. "I love you. I don't know why I did it. He seduced me." Matt sneered from the bed. "You loved it, you unfaithful woman. You loved me having my way with you. I've been with your wife for almost a year, you coward. To hell with you and your whole family." Kelly started crying into her hands. "What did I tell you before our wedding?" I questioned. "You love me?" she replied. "The warning I gave you." "You said I had to be faithful," she answered. "If you marry me, you must always remain faithful, and I would always remain faithful to you," I shouted. Kelly was now sobbing. "How many times have you heard our family say, 'Once an O'Connor, always an O'Connor'?" "Every toast at every family gathering," she replied weakly. "You know me and my brother were raised by our uncle, my dad's brother. You know we do not speak of my mother or to my mother's side of the family ever." "Yes," she replied. "Has anyone ever told you why?" I asked. "Only that your mother and father had a falling out before they died." "That is one way to put it," Matt sniped from the bed. "My father came home and found my mother in bed with Matt's uncle, his dad's brother. My dad shot them both in the bed he found them in." Kelly looked stricken. "My dad then went to Matt's grandparents' house and shot both of them. My dad then went to Matt's father's work and shot his father dead. My dad was on the way to Matt's house when the police caught up with him. My dad died trying to get into the house to shoot Matt's mom and Matt. Now do understand why Matt worked so hard to seduce you, why he was so hot to get you?" "No, no, no," softly cried Kelly. It was a chant she seemed to be telling herself that would make the realization go away. "Most girls in this state wouldn't even look at John or me. We have a past. We got into a lot of fights because we would not apologize for what our dad did. Being a local girl, Mary knew exactly what she was getting into when she married John. I guess me marrying an outsider was a mistake. I didn't want to tell you what had happened. I wasn't ashamed of what my father did. But I also wanted the past to stay in the past. But here we are." "Matt, that's right, tiny guy. I had intimacy with your wife, just like my uncle had with your mother. Your goddamn father killed my dad. For what? Some woman? Damn you, you piece of crap, O'Connor." I patiently waited until Matt was tired of talking. I said softly to Kelly, "So now you know the whole story. This is why my uncle raised me and my brother." "I didn't know," she replied. "You didn't need to know to stay faithful. I warned you." I then pulled the gun out and set it on the table between Kelly and myself. I pointed the gun towards me. "So, you have 4 choices, Kelly. You can refuse to pick up the gun and I will pick it up and shoot you through the head and then Matt through the head. I will go to jail for a long time and the kids will be raised by my brother. You will be dead and your family will never see our kids ever again. The kids will be raised to hate any mention of your memory." Kelly was staring straight into my eyes with wide open eyes. "You can pick up the gun and shoot me in the head. My brother or uncle will kill you on sight and our kids will be raised by the other one. Matt will be alive, and you and I will be dead. Your family will never see our kids ever again. Our kids will hate you." Kelly was now staring at the gun. "You can take the coward's way out by picking up the gun and shooting yourself. After you are done, I will then shoot Matt in the head. I will go to jail for a long time. My brother will raise our kids. You will be dead, and your family will never see our kids ever again. Our kids will hate you." Kelly stopped crying. "Or you can pick up my father's gun and shoot Matt in the head, ending his bloodline and finishing what my father started. You will go to jail for a long time, and I will raise the kids. This will be a mistake that you corrected. We will see you every week. We will never leave you. Everyone, including me, will always love you." Kelly picked up the gun like she was in a trance. The gun was pointed at my chest. Matt started shouting, "Shoot him!" We can say he broke into the room and I managed to take the gun away from him. "You shot him in self-defense. I love you, Kelly. I'll marry you as soon as this is all over. I love you, Kelly." Kelly stood up, still not wearing anything, and pointed the gun at Matt, which shut him up. She stared at Matt on the bed and said in a soft voice, "Michael, I love you. Tell the kids I love them. Please go. I don't want you involved." As I got into my truck, I heard 6 gunshots. Once an O'Connor, always an O'Connor. And so, we've reached the end of today's story. Was it what you expected, or did it take a twist you didn't see coming? I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Share them in the comments below, and let's get a conversation going. If this story kept you hooked, make sure to hit that like button. And if you're new here or just haven't subscribed yet, now's the perfect time to join our community. I bring you fresh, captivating stories every day, so click that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.